Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the September 24th meeting of the Lakeville Conservation Commission. We're being recorded by Lake Cam. Can I ask if anyone else is recording? Seeing none, we will start by introducing ourselves.
John LeBlanc,
Joshua Faraday.
Nancy Yates.
Joseph Chamberlain,
Bob Bouchard.
Michelle Bouchard.
Okay, first on our agenda, 69 Kingman Street, request for certificate of compliance. On 192.71 and superseding 192.96. This is a really long time ago. Oh, is anybody here? Oh, please, up to the microphone.
1988.
My name is Stephen Boucher. I've been trying to buy the property for a few months now.
Your name again, I'm sorry?
Stephen Boucher.
Okay,
I've just been trying to buy the property for a few months now.
okay.
And this is holding up the sale, so.
The lawyer suddenly discovered this from 35 years ago, whenever it was,
Yeah, did
right?
somebody just say the year?
88, I think the order of conditions was written.
Well, we're up to what? SE 192.915, and this is SE 92.71.
It's pretty old.
So, yeah, it is pretty
The
old.
public hearing
So,
was closed in April of 1986,
I'm going to, ask Bob Bouchard, because he's more familiar with it than I am, to, you say that.
I'm satisfied with the development. Looks like it's complete. No further issues.
Probably has been for a long time.
Yeah, they've been actively being worked for a long time.
So, these were, Sherry Ellis's bogs, and then there was somebody else after?
I'm not too sure
Okay.
what the history of it, who
All right.
went through.
You don't know how many times it's been turned
I
over?
think this is the second owner. I'm buying from the second owner.
Okay. Anybody?
I'll make a motion to issue a certificate of compliance for 69 Kingman Street, SC 192-71 and superseding 192-96.
All right.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
There you go.
Thank you.
Working implement. No, this one doesn't work either. Thank you. Okay. Next on the agenda, we have 310 Kenneth Welch Drive. And the next two, 310 Kenneth Welch Drive and 2 Bedford Street, have both requested a continuance to October 8th.
I'll make a motion to continue 310 Kenneth Welch Drive to October 8th at 7 p.m. in the Lakeville Police Station.
Second.
Okay? 2 Bedford?
You need a
We need a
Yeah.
vote.
vote from the entire board.
Oh, I'm sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll make a motion to continue 2 Bedford Street to October 8th at 7 p.m. in the Lakeville Police Station.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Off Freetown Street. Okay, this has a story. This has also been requested for a continuance, but only yesterday. This is on the stream determination, whether it is an intermittent or a perennial stream. And we've gone back and forth with the consultant and the proponent. And the ball is in the peer reviewer's hands, but the money has run out for the peer reviewer. So we got a quote. Actually Samantha's here from, the company, and the quote was, can you just come up for a sec? Okay, thank you. And introduce yourself. Oh, here comes Brandon, right on the spot.
Sam Peru Ecosystem Solutions.
Brandon Fanup, Ecosystem Solutions.
Great timing.
Okay, well, ecosystems, and I'm looking at the thing that says environmental partners on another thing, so I get off the track. There's a lot going on. All right,
Yeah,
so, they had given us, the proponent on Rocky Woods had given us the, Goddard it is, Tom Schutz. They had given us a long 50-page rendition of why it should be intermittent.
Yeah.
And now it's Brandon's turn to respond, and we, ran out of money. So
Well,
Brandon,
we did respond though. You did respond.
twice.
Yeah,
Twice, right, and then,
So-
and then they did a response to the response to the response.
okay,
So now it's time for Brandon to respond again, but the money ran out.
okay.
All right,
If
so,
they wanna keep on responding, then we'll just keep on going as long as you want,
okay,
as long as
so,
they pay.
right.
Right.
So you gave us a quote, Sam sent in a quote,
Yeah.
and, they dropped off the money just yesterday.
Okay.
So in the confusion, and I apologize that you came all this way, because in the confusion, I just signed the contract today for you to respond.
That's
So,
good, because I want to introduce Samantha to you.
okay.
Hi, Samantha.
Hi,
Nice to meet you
Samantha.
guys.
And she's been very helpful, because I know
Mhm.
that you guys have been busy. Everybody's busy, and that's why it gets so mixed up and confusing, I think. But I signed the contract. Lori probably sent it to you already.
If she did, I have.
If she didn't, she will tomorrow.
Okay.
So.
Is there anything you want to know now? While I'm here?
Can
Well-
I, may I?
Yes, please.
Just because I think it's your opinion that it's a perennial stream.
Currently, I do not think that the applicant has met their burden.
Okay. And that
Yeah.
that's continued. On this third round, you still believe that?
I still do, because the reason why is because they did the documentation of the no flow conditions across the street
On another
on a
side,
different
yeah.
property.
I read that.
And their response is that there's nowhere in 310 CMR 10 that the picture you take has to be on the property. But if you're trying to get rid of the 200-foot riverfront area in a certain piece of property that's going to affect your building, the observations, according to me anyway, in my interpretation of the spirit of the law, is that the observations should be taken in that location where the
Makes sense.
riverfront area in question is happening, not over there.
Agreed. Okay,
Yeah.
I just wanted to,
In the absence of good data, you could do it, something like that. But here we've got good data, so that's all the more reason to use it.
Well, there's nothing stopping them from going back on site now and taking 4 days of pictures on the property. That's what they really should just do. We're not in a drought situation, not yet anyway, but it's been a dry September, so when the Drought Advisory Board meets in October, they have to decide whether September was in a drought. It's been pretty dry this month, so it might not work out for them.
There's also been a lot of construction over the last 20 years, and you and I went to that pool where the, siltation barrier was now in the well, and when 20 years ago it was not. So there's been some things that have happened on the other side of the road that could change the hydrology also.
Well, that's part of the caveat of overcoming the presumption of perenniality, is that there's some caveats. There can't be any, significant impoundments, drainage, withdrawals of groundwater or surface water. There's a bunch of things that cannot be. And one of the things that I saw on the mapping is that this property, where the stream is anyway, is within the zone of influence of the interim wellhead protection area associated with the school.
2 wells, right?
2 wells.
2 wells.
Right, so the way I see it, the way I go about it is, I see that you're in an IWPA or a zone 1, of a public well. That means you're in what's called the zone of influence. So I presume that if you're in the zone of influence, that there's a significant withdrawal and that it's up to the applicant to prove otherwise, as the burden is on them. That's how I interpret it anyway. And they did provide a report from 2002 when they did the pump test. But now we're getting into the world of hydrogeology. So I don't think that a wetland scientist is the person that's best qualified to make that argument, because it has to come from a competent source. And I don't think that a wetland scientist should be talking about hydrogeology, hydro,
I think it's hydro.
geohydrology,
Okay.
geohydraulic, whatever it is, you know.
You were one, you should know, right? It's Geo.
Madam Chair, may I?
Sure.
How many people, by raise of hand, are here tonight for this project specifically?
For Freetown Street.
As much as I would love to see Brandon get paid again and again and again to write response letter after response letter, in your opinion, is the commission in a good enough place to make a determination tonight?
They are, but didn't they request a continuance?
Yes,
So I think you're obligated to.
yeah,
Because the continuance is at the applicant's discretion, so I think you're obligated.
I agree.
But I think you're in good position to make your determination next meeting.
Did they request a continuance within the time that we voted
No.
on was required?
No,
no,
but they dropped off a check too,
yeah, they did, they dropped off a check,
albeit yesterday.
yes. So, and he's come to this meeting, so maybe we should continue it for one more and you can do a final response.
I'd be in favor of that.
Yeah, I'd be okay with it. I'm just kind of sick of seeing this go on. So if we're gonna allow Brandon to respond, I don't think I'm willing to give the applicant a chance to respond to his letter. We're gonna take his letter and my opinion,
Yep,
I would like to take his letter and make a determination on this.
And not consider any response from the applicant?
How many times?
This will be it? But, I mean,
It could be.
Isn't the burden still on the applicant at this point?
I think so. The burden is definitely on the
Yeah.
applicant.
Yeah.
Yes. So, yeah, but you have to cut off conversation at some point.
Right.
but what's your opinion of where we stand with DEP? If we make that determination that it's a
And they're
perennial
gonna,
stream
they're gonna
now,
appeal to Mass DEP
they're gonna
and
appeal to Mass DEP,
They
so.
could,
but
and
that shouldn't affect our decision if we really believe that it's a perennial stream. I don't think.
I'm not saying it would affect our decision, I'm just wondering what chance we have. Our track record with DEP is not that great when we deny something or put our foot down on something, they haven't always backed us up, so.
Are you afraid that if they appeal because you made a decision they didn't like, that you then gonna lose control and it's gonna be in DEP's hands? If so, I wouldn't be too worried, because they would still have to file a notice of intent, so you're not losing control over the proposed construction anyway.
Right, but
And they would
we
have to wait for DEP to go out there and check those wetland flags all over again.
I'm in agreement with Brandon. I think it's perennial, and if they're gonna appeal, they're gonna appeal.
I agree.
Whether we have 5 response letters or 100.
Well, but given the fact that they did ask for a continuance and they deposited a check.
The money, again,
I believe we should give them one more opportunity.
Absolutely.
I won't make a motion to finish it tonight. I won't do that, but
Right.
I'm not gonna give them a chance to respond and then elicit a response from us, and then how long do we let it go on for?
Well, I would say,
well, we just warn them, say, this is
Well, then consider this my warning.
your
will-
warning, wait a minute now.
No, consider this my warning.
Okay,
I won't speak for the commission. I'll speak for
Right.
myself.
okay,
I don't want this to go on any longer.
Can we draft in our response, with Brandon's review that this is basically hard this is it, this is our final response, and you can have one rebuttal letter, but then you are coming to the next hearing and we are ruling whether you appear or not. No more continuances, no more, because they haven't brought new science. There's no new science in any of
We've
their.
granted a ton of continuances.
Yes, we have, okay.
Yeah, but they haven't brought actual new information. They might have written new letters but there's nothing substantively different in
Well, but
any of
they-
the responses.
But they have, so Brandon is our representative,
Yeah,
and they have their own professional that is responding.
right.
So I don't think that's not a good response. If they have a position to make and they're willing to keep paying for our peer review person,
But we just keep going round and round and
no,
saying
I
the
would
same
say
thing over
not,
and over again.
but I mean, Kenneth Welch Drive's been continuing for over a
Year
year.
and a half.
Like, I don't see how we can do it for one and not a lot, you know, we're how long into this? How many continuances have they requested? There've been a few, right?
A few, but I can't say exactly how many. But certainly not anywhere as long as 310 Kenneth Welch Drive or even some of the other
So I would
ones.
say that with an open mind, Joshua, I would say that we have our representative respond, let them respond, and at that point, we make a decision.
I'm with that.
That's,
I'll second that.
Yeah.
If
That's what I would
If
suggest.
that's a
We're
motion.
giving both parties one more response.
yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that we all realize where it goes from there. If we stick with that, it's a perennial stream and that they appeal to
Well, we know
DEP. I'm
ultimate-
not saying anything one way or the other.
Yeah.
I'm just laying out what the process is so that people understand.
Yeah, and
Ultimately,
I'm
yeah.
just saying that we let them know so that they won't turn up surprised.
Well, if they watch
Then we
this,
just have
if they watch
the
this video, they'll know.
Well, I think
That'll teach them.
we need to keep it in writing.
Yeah, I agree.
So we're going to give both our peer reviewer and them one more chance, but it's on for the next meeting and that's when we're gonna make our decision. So Brandon,
Yep.
I signed the contract.
Okay.
So how soon do you think we can get them the response so that we're not giving it to them at
Is
the
your
last?
next meeting in 2 weeks?
Yes,
Correct.
We can get it to you within 1 week.
Great.
Yep. And,
So are we giving them a week to respond?
well, unless we wanna go another meeting out.
It's only 2 weeks.
did they continue to a date certain?
Probably for the
They
next
just
one.
asked for a continuance.
Oh, they didn't say when?
We would like to request a continuance to the next possible hearing to allow time for Ecosystem Solutions Incorporated to issue any remaining peer review comments. Can you please advise of hearing date? And I emailed them back and said it will be continued to October 8th.
So they don't want a chance to respond.
Sounds like they have more things to say already.
All right, so you get it to us in a week.
Mhm.
We'll get it immediately to them.
Mhm.
Gonna be here. You get it to Lori. I guess the confusion was some stuff just goes to me. Everything should go to Lori and me.
And you, that's,
Yeah.
that's what I do,
Yeah.
is I send them to.
If
And
we're
they
giving-
didn't.
Lori.
That's how this confusion got here
I-
tonight.
I don't like the idea of giving them a chance to respond, but if that's how the commission feels, I don't think it's adequate to give them 2 weeks.
Just
I
warn
think
them.
you need to give them a month.
We just need to warn them that if we don't hear from you, we're gonna assume you're okay with it. And as of such and such a date, we're gonna move ahead.
Or we can continue it to the next meeting after that, 10 a.m.
I would continue it to our second meeting in
Which would be the
October.
22nd.
Brandon gets his letter out, and then they're gonna have a week to answer us. And then what, we're gonna get it on the day of our meeting and try to make a determination from their letter if that's what we're accepting?
Yeah, very short time.
Yeah. If the commission wants to give them a chance to respond, I don't think that's adequate.
I don't think that your email is binding, Madam Chair. Yeah, October, you told October 8th,
Right.
I don't think that's
Yeah.
binding.
Well, we'll just continue it. We'll make the decision tonight when October 8th comes and somebody shows up, we can just continue it again?
We can ask for their response by October 8th. That gives us 2 weeks to prepare and have them on the agenda for the meeting that follows that. So that Brandon has a week and then they have a week and then we have 2 weeks to prepare for the actual hearing.
It's October
I'm trying to meet in the
22nd.
middle with
Yeah,
everybody's
I'll make a motion to
suggestions.
continue off Freetown Street or whatever they call it, Rocky Woods, to, October 22nd, 2024, here at the police station at 7 PM.
Okay, we had some people from the audience, so I'll have a second and then we'll have some discussion. No second? All right, so then, okay,
I'll second that.
okay, so, discussion. We had a chance, they made the motion before I got to you, I'm sorry. But please come up to the microphone.
Pick a microphone, anyway.
Yep, pick a microphone.
Pick one anyway.
Michelle Belliard, Little Farm Road. I just wanted to ask if there was any reason why the committee couldn't vote on the perennial status based on the CMR law that was in your response about it being,
On the map?
yes, ma'am. Like, it's in the law.
Okay,
It's
through
up.
me, I will let Brandon answer.
What, as in make a decision tonight?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were,
Well, instead of continuing.
yeah.
Yeah.
right, right, we
It's-
got that, that was
yeah.
on the map.
Yeah, I just, I'm
But then
wondering
there's
why.
also the other side where they had the pictures of 4 days of dry conditions, which is also in the law. Even though
On a site
Brandon's
that's not-
response, it
sorry.
wasn't on the right site. Go ahead.
No,
Okay,
I'm good.
with it being offsite, it doesn't seem applicable.
say again.
With the pictures being offsite, that doesn't seem applicable.
And I agree.
To me, it seems within your right to vote. I'm just asking if you could.
No, the applicant did ask for the continuance and it did seem like it was granted, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a simple response.
Thank you.
Not easy.
And in my response, what I'll do is I'm gonna make a recommendation for, in the ORAD as to what boxes to check and what to say. So I'll make those recommendations as well.
Thank you.
All right, that's
Yeah.
beautiful. All right.
Appreciate it.
Okay, so you're gonna get it to us in a week.
Yep. Yeah, that's it.
We're gonna get it to them with the understanding this is it.
Yep.
And that, both parties will be back here on October 22nd.
Very good.
Do we wanna take a vote?
Yep, you gotta take a
Wait,
vote.
well, I just wanna make sure, anybody else have anything to say out there? I understand this is very confusing, but we'll do what we can. I think we're all in agreement that we think it's perennial and it's,
Just a matter of when to call it quits, right?
yeah, cause it's just going, it is, you know, back and forth, so I think everybody agrees.
Take the vote.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll abstain.
All right, I wanna do a roll call vote. If somebody's gonna abstain, that's our new, I've been asked to do it all the time, but I wanna at least do it.
John LeBlanc, aye.
Josh Verity abstain.
Yates, aye.
Chamberlain, aye.
Bouchard, aye.
Michelle Bouchard, aye.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
you're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
No problem.
Thanks, Brandon.
Nice to meet you, Sam.
Night. Good night.
All right, Pinecrest Village, the reason I don't have it on here is because it came on the last,
Came yesterday?
well, no, the request, I had to chase it down again. And even had Lori send out she had sent it out May 8th to all of the engineers that we deal with about If revised plans are submitted less than 5 days prior, please request a continuance in writing. And so I chased down Jason from Outback Engineering today and finally got it, saying that, you know, it needs to be in writing. They need to do it 5 days in advance, and we just got giant plans yesterday. In fact, we didn't even get the hard copies yet. The last I was there this afternoon, we hadn't got the hard copies yet. I guess maybe
When
I
I
was
was
there
there.
around noon time when you were there.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
earlier in the day, but we hadn't got the hard copies yet, and it's the day of the hearing. So,
So we continuing this
yes, please.
to 10/8?
Yep,
I make a motion to,
okay, yep.
to continue Pinecrest Village SE 192-917 to October 8th, 2024 at the police station at 7 PM.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, 43 Main Street. We just got I don't think she had time to put this in the packet, but we just got the, quote from Environmental Partners.
Yeah, it's here.
It's there?
Yep.
All right, we got it yesterday, the 23rd.
$2,050.
No,
No?
Environmental Partners for 43 Main Street.
The Lakeville Hospital, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right in. Conservation Review Proposal, Scott Turner.
That must be the old one.
Oh, yeah, November 5th,
Okay,
2020.
I'm gonna say, the
Yeah,
new
all right,
proposal
my
is
mistake.
11,200.
Okay.
Okay,
I'll take the old
so,
one, please.
so,
Okay,
it just came in today. So, I don't think she probably, if you picked up your packet, it's not in there. So I got a call today from, the main person I've been talking to, John O'Leary, is on vacation, so he wasn't in. So another woman called me, and I wrote her name down somewhere, I don't have it, but she was here for the presentation when they came. And she's fine with this, because I had called John to see if he wanted us to get another quote or whatever, but they're fine with it. She had wanted to change one little bit of wording. And, she was sending it out to Lori and sending it out, but they're fine with it, and they're gonna
Okay.
drop off a check.
so we need a vote to continue this
Yes,
to the next meeting?
for the next meeting. So, this is quite lengthy. I'm thinking we ought to go out,
Come on.
let me see. When they, I don't have the printout for that one. To continue it, yeah, I don't think, this is pretty lengthy, and they have to go out on site and all that, so I would say at least a month.
Okay. I make a motion to continue 43 Main Street, SE 192-924, till 10/22/24, 7 PM here at the police station.
Second.
$10/22. Give me time to find. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. 4 Wildwood. Also a request to continue. This is a civil matter, I
for
don't
2 weeks?
know how. Yeah, 2
Okay.
weeks.
I make a motion to continue 4 Wildwood Road to 10/8/24 here at the police station at 7 PM.
Second.
Was there a reason they asked to continue?
They're still trying to figure out about the well. Remember how the well was connected
Yeah.
to the neighbor? So it's kind of like a civil
Yeah,
matter.
okay, just curious.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, I realized that the reason why I'm getting confused on some of these is because instead of taking the notes like I used to before I was chairman and had to run the meeting, as I always did in my notebook, and now I'm just writing it on an agenda, and the old agenda, one page gets in the reams of information, so I need to take the time to do that. Okay, 217 County Street.
Bill Connolly, Zenith Consulting Engineers. The site is 217 County Street, also known as the Lakeville Eagles Club.
I was trying to put that together. Okay.
The site is bordered to the east by Long Pond, as well as some flood zone. We are proposing an existing deck, which will be attached to the building, which runs along the southerly and easterly side. The proposed deck is about 10 feet, 10.8 feet from the pond. We're proposing silt sock for erosion control, which is to stay in place until the site is loam and seeded and fully stabilized, as well as a dewatering basin to be used if necessary. And just for clarification, we did submit a plan previously to the Board of Health, which involved the construction of a new house over here, which would be tied into the existing septic system. It was their opinion that they didn't want to add flow to that existing system. So at this point, we're just proposing the construction of the deck. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Joe?
question, get green cards for me?
Yes.
So this is going off the second floor of the building?
Nick Filozzo, member of the Eagles, that's correct.
Okay,
Yes.
so it's gonna cover, what's the patio now?
The exterior, so there's a small vestibule where you enter,
Yeah,
that area over there.
okay.
What is the access to the deck? Just from the front of the building?
The access is from the second floor. There'll be a door out, an existing window opening.
Okay,
And then also, if you're familiar with the site,
Yeah.
when you walk into the second floor event hall,
Yeah.
there's a small deck. There'll also be access right there as well.
gotcha.
Are there gonna be stairs off this deck going down?
No stairs. They'll be attached to the existing stairs on that landing.
What are they doing for footings? Sonotubes or,
That's correct. Right now, we're proposing 12-inch sonotubes with Bigfoot.
okay.
And the current area is the concrete area that we're going in.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
You mentioned something about 10 feet of distance. What was it you were referring to?
That's approximately from the nearest point of the proposed deck to the pond.
Only 10 feet? Really?
I believe that. It's pretty tight back there.
Yeah.
On the back side of that building.
Pretty cut and dried. Well, as long as the
Anybody?
silt fence is up. How big is the deck?
Ooh, square footage wise, so it's about 12 feet off of the building. It runs for majority of the building, and it outreaches about 8 feet towards the pond.
Are you cantilevering it so that the post will
Slightly.
be in a little bit?
Slightly, but not really, because there would be an issue at the entrance for the vestibule.
Okay.
And you received your letter from Natural Heritage, said no endangered species, is that correct? I thought I saw it in the packet.
I believe so.
No?
I think the only,
That's for a different address,
yeah, that's
Is
for,
it?
178.
let's see. That's for 178 County Street,
Ah,
which is, I think, has to do with, Rocky Woods.
Yes.
okay, so nothing from Natural Heritage. Is it, I don't have a do you have a copy of the notice of intent?
No, this is all I have.
It's from last week, right? So, nobody brought the extra? I didn't either.
I don't think I have a copy.
Make sure you check the box. 'Cause how many feet back is it from the pond?
10,
But it's off the ground, so
yeah, it's
might not
11,
even be relevant, right?
11 feet on one side and 13.3 on the other.
Not off the ground and it's over existing pavement, right?
Yeah,
Existing concrete.
So we would put, like we always do, if anything flows into the water, you have to take it out. So nothing was, you didn't have the notice of it?
I don't
Okay.
have it with me now.
I can look it up in, the package you sent.
I mean, this site's all paved, isn't it?
The portion
The
is,
whole
it's not
front?
concrete.
I mean, the front of the lot is all paved, right?
Oh, the whole front of the lot, that's
Yeah.
fair.
You didn't get that?
No, she
This is
gave
for
me
our
the-
last meeting,
The old big time. Is the next
Yeah.
one.
first time.
Yep.
Before our last meeting. Can't open it. It was in a zip folder, I think,
Okay,
but, Will, do you know when it was applied for?
Eight. Might have found it.
No.
Got the number. It was the middle of August.
Is the letter from Natural, or, NHESP the only thing that we're concerned about?
if we're concerned about it, I mean, how many feet back is it from the pond?
Roughly 10 to 13 feet,
Oh,
the closest point.
That's the edge of the deck
Edge
on
of
the
the
second
deck,
floor.
so.
I would propose a motion that is we approve the project under the condition that if a letter from Natural Heritage is received, that any conditions outlined in that be followed.
There's a note on here that says the property is partially located in a priority habitat
Right,
or estimated habitat.
Yeah.
so you need the natural heritage.
Yeah.
And so natural heritage wouldn't know if you don't have, is there a green card?
Going to grab the envelope.
All right, if there's a
Do you know-
green card that you sent it, otherwise you have to send it and then it'll be
We have
30
the
days.
green cards that we sent to,
Okay.
yeah.
National Heritage isn't here.
Yep.
What's the date on it?
The ninth, maybe.
It was sent August 2nd.
So more than 30 days ago.
Yeah, it's more than 30 days, so you should have a response somewhere.
Yeah.
Because they have to reply in 30 days, right?
So we'd like a copy of the response, if we don't already have it, and any conditions, just like Josh said. Could you do the motion again? I'm sorry.
That was my fault.
I'll motion to close the hearing.
Okay,
Second?
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll make a motion to issue our standard order of conditions with a special condition. If there was a letter issued by Natural Heritage that has any recommendations for the project, that those be followed. And if any debris during construction is to end up in Long Pond, that it be removed immediately.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you all for
Thanks,
your
Will.
time.
Thank you.
Sorry it took so long. Yes. Thank you. Okay.
Looks like show and tell time.
Yes, I'm up.
So, is this for 5 Harding Street?
Yes.
Okay.
Now that,
I was up with nobody else here, so.
It's all yours.
Will you state your name, please?
Yes, John Kelly.
Okay, John Kelly, we've spoken on the phone,
We have Nancy.
okay? I thought I made it really clear that you were gonna need to refile? Or was that just a memo I sent to the planning board?
Well, when we spoke on the phone, we actually talked, and you said you'd make time for me tonight to come in and just talk about the project. And the question was that, you know, there's an existing order of conditions on the property. This was the property that I purchased here in April. This was previously approved. This site has gone through just the extensive permitting that's gone on at this site. This is located as a former nursery site, was permitted for a market basket. And then subsequently has gone through a number of different reviews. And then subsequently Bob Palucci had come in and permitted this for a multi-tenanted industrial building, up to 14 different tenants. He was gonna be looking to do contractor bays and landscapers, things like that, was what my understanding was after talking with him. And so he purchased the property, there was an existing order of conditions, all the approvals were in place, everything was done. And the building, when we looked at it, it really didn't work for us. We're a construction company. We're gonna be owner occupied of the facilities down here. And when we went and sat down with the planning board, came in and did a overview of what we wanted to do, talked to them about, and gave them a snapshot of how we wanted to be owner occupied and, you know, maybe take this design and put it into multiple buildings. So we asked for a notice of project change, and asked it to be a minor modification. And so that's what we're going through the planning board currently, but we wanted to go through that. We're going through a peer review, and in the peer review, there, quite a few of the questions that we're dealing with are about drainage and wetlands and all that stuff. So that's all part of the process. So we were going through, so then we wanted to come in and talk about the project overall and then see if we could seek an amended order of conditions, because we didn't want to affect anything beyond the limits of work. So we're trying to stay within that. We figured that there's been enough consultants and engineers that have been working on this thing for the last 15 to 20 years. Again, the long history was all that. And then all the areas here, there's a conservation restriction that's bounding the property. Property, I believe, was at 1.21 acres, now is down to about 7 acres. Everything here is all within the limit of work and everything else. So we're not looking to go beyond the limit of work, any of that stuff. We're looking to just try to stay within that. And then, again, the conservation restriction area, there's all kinds of agreements and inspections, annual inspections. There was the turtles. That work was all done by Bob Palucci. So again, trying to just see if we could work within that. We didn't want to recreate the wheel, and just try to see if we could, make this site work for our operations.
So that was Bob Palucci's plan,
This was, yes, again, so.
and that's what you have an order of conditions for, that plan?
Correct.
Okay.
And so,
I
and
just
so
wanna-
all locations there, yes. The septic system, the same location. So that's, again, this was talking with the planning board and going through that again. It was a different kind of operation where this was gonna be multi-tenanted, all different folks. Again, our argument or our position is that that's much more difficult to kind of maintain and have all these other people. We're gonna have security gate, things like that on our property. And then some of the stuff that we're talking about is to have this, we're basically gonna have our trucks. Our trucks are gonna be stored inside at night, in these, garage bays, all in here. So these are all on grade. There's one, loading dock area here, but just moving that. And then we're gonna have an office and restroom and, mechanical room, located in this area here. We got like one handicap parking space, there. So
How does it compare impervious?
there's more impervious. Our trucks are over the road trucks, so that's why we need this area here to be able to do the turning.
Mhm.
We showed that to the fire department as well, went through all their questions about, there was I think a culvert down here and all that stuff, so. It's more impervious, and that's basically the biggest change. The traffic count is down, everything's down, and again, we're looking to try to operate this ourselves.
And you're within the original scope of work?
The limits of work, we have not pushed one inch beyond. Now, in the.
I wanna
in the-
put the other one back up alongside of it, please.
Yeah,
That's in front of it.
yeah, oh, sorry, side.
The buildings look closer on the top part to the,
But the scope of work remains the same.
Scope of work remains the same. The building sizes are exactly, we're within like 200 square feet of the building sizes. We had done an analysis, 37,466 was the approved plan. We're at 37,057 for our revised plan. The total anticipated employees reporting to the site under Bob Palucci's was 100 to 120. We're at 25 to 30. We anticipated personnel on site per day was 50. We're down to 12. Overhead doors was 25. We do have 32, just because of our trucks. We actually have a couple of trucks have to go in for inspections, so we have to basically do our mechanical inspections, so we have to have a door on either side. And then, this is where the biggest question is. There is more paving here, but we've also taken into account all the drainage calculations. And we're going through that all right now with a peer review with the planning board, and they're addressing all that, all these same questions. So I guess that was why we wanted to kind of go through that and have the peer review address all the questions. And then we have also, the endangered species turtle work, all that's been done. We've already had their inspections. We did all that stuff to make sure we comply. Yeah, so we've gone and tried to, do everything to minimize any additional impacts, just work within what was already approved. Just looking for so in the peer review, you'll see that we're gonna add, so the way we designed this was to actually add some vinyl sheet shoring. It's a premium product.
vinyl.
Vinyl, sheet shoring.
Okay.
I actually have and so there was a question from the peer review folks. I could give you something here.
They asked for specs on it, right?
Yes, and I'm gonna give them, on Thursday night, we emailed it today, but there's a 90-page for the Army Corps of Engineers. The Army Corps of Engineers did a study about how durable this is, how consistent it is, how this is a super premium product, and this is much better than basically earthen berms, less potential. So part of our thought process is because of the location with the Pecoi Brook, I didn't want to have landscapers down there, cutting the grass, dumping their stuff, into the potential wetlands, trying to keep as much trash out, try to do everything we can to potentially protect that edge. So we went and we're doing this, and I'm working around the country on other projects. Our civil engineer was from Texas. We've done a number of projects with him, and we've used the vinyl sheet shoring successfully. Again, it's costing me more money. I said, I think this is the right thing to do, so that's why we're doing it. We also now addressed a couple other things with cover and things like that the peer reviews asked for. I think it was a Cultec system. We said if he was concerned about the cover. I told the civil engineer, let's propose retain it, which is a concrete system. It's, again, more money. I said, let's try to do it. Let's make sure we just get everything squared away. He's asked for an outlet control structure. We've addressed that. We're going to do the outlet control structure. So I think the only things, there were a couple maybe questions. We've responded now twice to the peer review. I heard the comments, but I think we've been trying to be proactive. There was a question about a illicit discharge permit. I've submitted that to planning board, and they'll be able to submit to you as well. But again, we've tried to put a significant amount of time into this and everything. We try to be super responsive. Every time we've been getting something, the first time we got the comments for the peer review, we got it the day of the hearing. We responded within 2.5 hours for actually the department heads. We responded in 2.5 hours. I think it was 8 letters back to the planning board. And again, then the peer review, we responded back, I think, in less than 2 days with all the different information that they've asked us for. So we feel like we've been trying to be super responsive, and we want to, obviously, it's a big investment for us. We're currently located in Raynham. We've been looking at this property prior to Bob Palucci, and so it's been a long time. And the redevelopment, it was a nursery. The nursery buildings we have taken down. We did get a demo permit. There was asbestos. There's all that stuff. We cleaned all that stuff up. We tore them all down, disposed of them legally, properly. So we're super excited about the opportunity to be down here, and it's great for our operations to expand. And it's basically, I'm an owner occupied. This is not investment for me. This is my business. We're just trying to grow, and we run out of room up in Raynham. We're over at 33 Commercial Street. We have 2 buildings over there. We just don't have Commercial Drive. Yeah, Commercial's right off of Richmond. And then we have another building up on the other side of town, up on the northern side of Raynham, and we're just outgrowing it.
So it's good to expand.
Madam Chairman?
All right, well, I'm looking at the review letter number 2, there were a few things in number 2, I guess. I don't know if it was in 1 or 2 about the operation and maintenance plan. I guess what I'm thinking is our decision tonight is they need to refile. Because the order of conditions, the valid order of conditions they have is for Bob Palucci's project. Now, they have a totally new plan, so what's filed in Plymouth, we need to decide, they need to refile for either amended order of conditions, or do we think it's significant?
What you're asking for is an amended order.
We are asking for an amended order, yes.
All right, but it's our decision whether it's an amended order or if you need to refile if it's significant. Amended order is for minor changes, and I guess that's what we're talking about tonight. Are they minor changes? There were questions about the operation and maintenance plan. I think what bothered me the most was adjusting the siltation barriers in the field. I think siltation barriers need to be on the plan, not adjusted in the field. And also the retaining wall is 2 feet from the wetland. And there was some questions about that, and this, I don't know if everybody's had a chance to go over. It's a lot of information between, response from environmental partners 1 and 2.
There is quite a bit of information here. I mean,
Right.
things like the siltation, I mean, that's,
And, I don't know, have we had enough time to review all this information? I
There
guess
was a
that's my
question
first
about
question.
wells and septic, but that was answered, I believe.
there currently is, the plan is for septic, and there is a well on site.
And
That's been
all
existing.
buildings are served.
Yes, and then we're bringing a water
Oh, on
line,
two.
we're gonna bring a water line
Number
in for the
22 on
fire
two.
department. We
Yeah.
don't show it on the plan, but that's because we've been coordinating, we're gonna coordinate with the fire department. We've been in communication, and we responded back to the fire department. And they would like to come out and work with us to locate where they wanna put the hydrant. So that's why we're just waiting
Okay.
to come up with a solution with there. So,
And,
But still, that work would be within the scope of this.
it is within the scope, and, you know,
operation and maintenance plan. Did the planning board ask for an updated operation and maintenance plan, and you wanted to use the old one?
I think we were looking just to try to work within the old one or accept the old one, which is, that we would just update it, but we didn't want to make any changes to it. I guess we were saying that we would live by the accepted and approved plan is what that was our position.
Oh, they're saying that just having a new owner is enough reason to do a new maintenance plan.
And environmental partners,
Yeah,
right,
Well, again, I think that what we were saying is that the new plan, we'll update it, but if we would accept what the plan was as approved. We weren't looking to try to say we want to deviate from it or to
oh yeah, it's
so.
they have it in there. If the conditions and requirements outlined in the original O and M plan remain applicable to the modified project, no significant changes in responsibility of site management have occurred, it would be acceptable to continue using the original O and M plan.
Correct.
Are these vinyl sheet pile walls, similar to what you see used for seawall construction?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, exactly.
So they're driven by some type of jackhammering machine.
It's a excavator we have an attachment on it, basically just drives it down, so that actually would be, so that's again, works on this side, so it doesn't impact, whereas if you're doing berms,
Right.
we'd be having machines or other work down potentially right on the edge, so we're able to basically about 10 to 12 feet away, we're able to, stand off.
And what's the height of the remaining sheet pile above grade when it's complete?
Depending on the areas, I think the highest point was about 5 feet was the highest point, but it was like 2 to 5 feet roughly.
And you would backfill and grade behind it
Well,
on construction side of,
potentially, or it could be it's the other wall, like the seawall. So that
Yeah.
was to leave that so that we wouldn't go beyond the.
right,
limit of
you
work.
wouldn't grade on the resource area side, but whatever's
It-
behind it, you would,
It's an additional to us in the way our thought process was, it protects the resource area. It's again, a premium way to do that versus, again, having the earthen berms and then potentially having mowers, guys down there, and then not having the protection down on that side.
right.
We just looked at the resource area and said, I don't want any problems. It's a brook. It's important. And we I did the due diligence myself. I read the documents. The documents are, it's gotta be 3 feet thick. I mean, it goes all the way back to going through all the different order conditions for market basket and all that stuff. You could see what was going on here and what, how much, emphasis was placed on that area and how the critical resource area. So again, our planning purposes, we said, let's not mess around with this. Let's do these sheet piles. And again, I have all kinds of documentation. The Army Corps engineers, we have 90 pages. We have a study that
I'm
basically-
familiar with the walls.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So you would be proposing tiebacks in the wall and some type of hydro release
potentially, but not necessarily. We actually can tie the top with
into the drainage.
So.
John, going back to what you said,
Mhm.
However, if the conditions and requirements outlined in the original, operation and maintenance plan remain applicable to no significant changes of responsibility or site management have occurred, who determines that? This is not saying it is, it's saying if.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
for what it's worth,
yes.
it just keeps saying significant changes over and over again. We have a new property owner, we have a new applicant, we have a new business, we have a new use case. I realize that the outside scope area is the same, the footprint of the whole project. There's a lot of changes here. And if we just amend it, I'm not saying this is gonna happen, so don't take this personally. But he could come back and say, well, this wasn't my order of conditions in the first place anyway. And
Well,
it doesn't feel very clean or right to just update somebody else's request because the property and the project change hands. It doesn't seem very clear. We can amend it if we want, or it just doesn't seem quite right to just amend it. It feels like it should be a new.
Well, I had thought, and I've been saying this all along, you just said it a little more eloquently than me, but that I feel that with some of these things, we might need our own peer review from a conservation. This peer review is just from the planning board point of view, but there are many places in here where it refers to conservation.
Did we peer review the first one? Lucci's?
I don't recall.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did, because, Wildlands Trust was involved.
I don't think we did.
Conservation's Wildland Trust Natural Heritage and Endangered Species Program, because there's the whole turtle remediation program that they
Right.
have to live up to. Because there's the whole spring turtle transition
Right,
period.
but he's already,
Yeah, I was just reading through all that.
We've addressed all that with the Wetlands Trust. We've had the inspection. We've also had the inspection with the test, the turtle.
No, that isn't,
we-
exactly how it went. Wildlands Trust goes out once a year to check on their things. They're not reviewing the project as a peer reviewer would review the project. They just went out and
That's not what
said,
that's
you're
not-
not impacting on anything.
That's not what I was saying.
Okay.
I had them out there to do their annual inspection. I also had the inspection done by the consultant.
LEC,
Yep, LEC. So
Wetlands Wildlife Waterways.
So we've had the inspections done and everything else. I'm just, so.
There's a
I'm not
copy of
saying-
the turtle barrier inspection report in.
Right.
And all that construction work that Bob Lucci did was inspected as well.
Right.
So.
There's even
Madam
pictures.
Chair,
I just think that, just let me finish my thought, that the first time around when you had said everything was okay with Wildlands Trust and I called them, they were just doing their yearly report. It wasn't like, I felt I was led to believe that, they were okay with the project. They were okay with that. You haven't well, nothing's been done yet, so obviously you haven't impacted on anything yet, but.
So, and I apologize if you felt that by no means was trying to mislead you. The person from Wetlands Trust came out, said everything looks great, basically gave us a big thumbs up, walked the entire perimeter for, I think it was 2.5, 3 hours.
Right,
So,
but you haven't done anything yet.
well, we went out and did all that stuff. We did everything else. So I guess that's what they came out and said, everything's been great. We got the letter for the turtle barriers and all that stuff. So we've been.
But
I
that
guess-
was all the stuff that was done by the previous.
Right, but then when we bought the property, we initiated both of those. Bob Palucci hadn't done anything else in a couple of years, from what I understood. You put in the barriers. We went and fixed all the barriers, made sure everything was done, did the inspections, made the contacts, and everything else to go through the process to make sure we were going to be compliant. Again, staying with the limits of work. Our position, I guess, is that I can go and build the other building right now. There's a valid order of conditions. I can go build this building. I can go pull a building permit today. And I have the wetlands and the order of conditions that are in place. I can do that right now.
Right.
Tomorrow morning I can go down and pull this permit. again, that's not, this is where we're here. This building, again, and what I'm working with the planning board on is I think our building, having less employees, less traffic, less things, is gonna be better suited for this property than this building here. I mean, these buildings here where they're contractor based and everything else, I mean, I always, you know, they're usually a lot of problems, is my experience, what I see with them. There's a lot of just, you know, trucks and stuff all stored outside. We're putting all our trucks inside. We're gonna be spending a lot of money to make sure that we can house our trucks. But again, so that's why we wanted to stay within limits work. We didn't want to ask to try to push anything out and try to stay within that. That's why we were basically trying to say that we could, you know, look for an amended order of conditions, because there's a valid order of conditions. It's for a project that is similar size and scope. Again, that's why we worked hard to not go to try to, you know, push this thing to 50,000 square feet or anything else. It's 7.5 acres, 37,000 square feet on 7.5 acres is small buildings from what I see in some of these other locations. So I guess we're not trying to push the envelope at all. We're trying to basically just see if we could work within the amended, get to the amended order conditions. So
I'm sorry, but honestly, you're not trying to push the envelope at all, because you would have to start at square one all over again, and it would be probably a very difficult process. If you were gonna go outside what's already agreed upon as the,
Yep.
right,
But
so.
you're not going beyond the scope of, I just don't see it as a significant change, I really don't.
I don't either.
How's the planning board? Are they giving you a minor modification?
that's what I'm in before, yes.
Oh, okay,
So
so
that's
they
what I'm
haven't made a
trying-
determination?
No, I'm on the planning board Thursday night as
Gotcha.
well, and that's why now we've gone through the peer review and we're just responding back to the comments, but I believe that we should be in the final stages of those comments. We have some more plans that are getting updated, but they just asked us for more details and things like that. I don't think there's anything in here that we're arguing over. It's a matter of us basically just getting them, you know, they wanted 3 or 4 plans updated. They wanted a couple more details. But again, this is where it's kind of getting a little bit convoluted, because there is wetlands and conservation
Right.
questions, and we're answering those. But is that what you want? So that's why I'm questioning and trying to say if it's a minor, if all of a sudden I get satisfied here and ask for the planning board to approve, then do we come back and then now we have either potential conflicting, you know, this peer reviewer may not be the environmental peer reviewer, may not be Brandon. Brandon, I think, done work for me in the past, I believe, on other things where,
Yeah.
you know, he may want one thing, this guy may want something different. You know, there was an elevation issue on one of the ponds, but it was, we went with exactly the same elevation that was under Bob Palucci's. So it's like we didn't change or differ any of that stuff. So I guess that's what we've been trying to just see if we can work, not make significant changes beyond that, so.
So everything outside of the area outlined in red,
Yes.
is that under conservation restriction?
Yeah.
Yes, yes it is. That's again recorded, and it's been, that was negotiated and all said and done, so all that paperwork's been, you know, squared away, and we reviewed it all with Bob Palucci and.
So I guess that's to my point, where it's not the potential to go outside of that.
Outside of what?
Well, yeah, but I don't think that's even an issue. He's not saying he's going outside.
Right, no, he's not. I'm just cut because it would be very difficult to do that.
No, he's.
He can't.
Right,
No.
Yeah.
that's basically what I'm saying.
Right.
It's like,
No, and you understand that.
right,
It's
Right.
not, we have
That's
a
not-
restriction, there's a restriction. I'm
Yeah,
just
that's not
saying,
a question.
We're not looking to do any, you know, anything else that there's, so.
And in terms of impact by traffic and such like, it's greatly reduced.
Yes. So, I mean, like things, I guess what I'm saying is we're not looking to try to, it's like, say we want to fill this area or something like that. We're not asking for any filling. We're not looking for anything else. We're just trying to say we're going to work within the areas that was approved and see if we can do that. Again, we're trying to minimize, we think we're minimizing a lot of the impacts that we're going to be from all the way from, you know, and maybe I got a lot of history because now I read all the way from Market Basket, which was like 1,200 cars a day going
Right.
in and out of there, into what they were going to be doing, and none of that conservation restriction was part of it. It was all in where the areas now that the turtles are. So it's just, to me, it seems like that was a massive, impactful job, that project. Versus now, and I believe now we're into a pretty, small, you know, tiny version of that, and less impactful. I guess that's why, we're anxious to get rolling. I mean, we really are. So, winter's coming. Would love to have the trucks indoors for winter and stuff like that, but we're just, we want to try to get moving as quick as we can, really, is what our goal is. So.
So the question before us tonight is, do we issue an amended order, or you come back to us with a request for amended order,
Yes.
or do we make them refile?
After meeting with the planning board, right? Because you have a meeting on Thursday, planning board. Is there anything that you see that they might want that would conflict with what we want?
Right now, I don't. I mean, I'll know more on Thursday night, and, again, I think we're gonna need to submit, I think it's like 3 plans on the 2nd, October 2nd, which is basically the fastest I could get the civil engineer to make the changes, but the changes are like adding details. They asked us to add a few different, construction details to the plans.
So they don't have any fundamental problems.
Well,
But-
you've read through these
Yeah,
two
yeah.
things, we left them.
Well, I think I think they brought up some additional questions. I believe we responded. Some of them were regarding the vinyl sheet piles. It appears that they're not aware or not familiar with it.
They're not used for this type of work. Traditionally.
We're using them everywhere, but more in the south.
Right.
But again, just maybe because I have an experience with them or good history with them and a very good experience. That's why I said, let's figure out how to potentially really protect that area. And let's not just go in there and have, again, my concern would be to have maybe maintenance, landscape, or guys washing, they see us.
A
So,
guardrail or something.
I mean, if I had to put some kind of barrier, I could potentially.
There's no
take a look at it.
concern of someone driving over the edge of it?
Well, I think the areas are down more away from it's more away from the building, so
Fine.
so. it's
I
like
thought you had
that.
a building right on
In
that.
Yeah.
fact,
it's
if you
like
that.
show,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
if you
Yeah,
show
put
the
your
new
other plan
design,
up, sorry.
Yeah, I can't imagine anyone would be.
So the buildings are out
Yeah.
here, and that's basically a basin here behind.
Oh, okay.
So that's
I
what,
gotcha.
I'm trying to keep it so that nobody go
Stupid
down
enough
there.
to.
Yeah, well,
I,
this is where I guess my thought process is here. This is less manageable to me. Then all of a sudden I put the backs of the buildings, the trucks will exit out here.
Yeah.
There's no doors out here. There's nothing. So
And
Understood.
the general
I-
public is not showing up wandering around here.
No,
These are all your employees.
correct. And we'll have a security gate here at the front. So I mean, we'd have cameras and things like that. So there's no visitors really. This is my drivers come in, get their truck, they drop off their vehicle, they take their truck and they drive off and do their deliveries. They come back at the end of the day. I have 2 or 3 mechanics there that doing the inspections, check the tires, do all that other stuff. And then, we send out any of the heavy equipment repairs out to our, to the, Milton Cat and these other guys, so.
I've had to go to Milton Cat for a couple of pots once in a while. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
good guys.
Yeah, they're great.
if the question was before us tonight, new filing or amended, I would vote for amended.
I would vote for amended also. yeah.
Me too.
Same.
I wouldn't, I'm still not liking the operation and maintenance plan, at the very least, I suppose we can condition that, on an amended order
Absolutely.
about the new
Absolutely.
property owner. But, I'm sorry, Coy Brook and Leonard Washburn, which is on the top somewhere, I don't know where it is
Yeah.
on the upper side, but they're the last 2 cold water trout streams left in Lakeville. And you're within 2 feet of that, and I just would like our own person.
Well, so was the old one, though.
Under an amended order, can we get a peer review?
I mean, what questions aren't answered in this?
The operation and maintenance plan.
Okay, so let's
And
get
then
an
there are
answer
some
to it.
others. I mean, this was a lot of information to go over, so
I mean,
19,
he would still have to finalize his plan with the planning board before
True.
coming to us.
Right,
Yeah.
so all these questions have to be answered.
That's our understanding, so.
So the only question is, do we have issues outside of what's addressed here?
us, I don't know. I'm saying, like he said, what would Brandon say? I'm saying that nobody here has that expertise to really go over all these things, looking at it from our wetland protection, except maybe Josh.
Well, the only,
Well, you're asking maybe potentially a different peer review to peer review.
Only the
Peer
wetland
review.
stuff. Yeah, well, because they're not, they mentioned Concom and like,
no, but it's a previously approved plan.
I think we have.
We're within
I
the
think we have
footprint of that
knowledge.
previously approved plan. I
say it
don't,
again?
I'll let John finish his.
Okay, sorry, John.
I'm done.
Oh, see?
You didn't hear what I said though, did you?
No.
So I said it's a previously approved plan. We're not going outside the borders of that previously approved plan. So I don't really see the
But
issues.
there's more impervious, the drainage is different, I guess all
There's
those
more
questions
impervious,
have
but
been.
it still falls under the,
And it's still a peer review on the drainage through the planning board.
Right,
and they address the impervious in this.
right, and they're asking for, I would say, long-term, that's the thing we have the most problem with, the long-term operation and maintenance plans, that as long as we can condition that that they change it with the new owner on there, I mean, that's what
Well, you
they're
have to
asking
anyway.
for.
Again, I think I don't know if I'm conveying it properly, but all we said is that the operation and maintenance plan that was approved, we would live with it, we'll update it, we'll do it, and then if that is to be a condition, we have no issues with that.
Okay.
If we were
Okay.
asked about the illicit discharge permit,
You got it.
I filled it all out and submitted it today.
Yep.
So I mean, everything that they've asked us for there, we're happy to try to do that. What I was saying with the operations plan was just, I didn't want to go in and say, if you guys, if this was presented and they had to do 10 things here, I'm not looking to come in and say, I only want to do 2.
Right.
I'm willing to do the same 10 that was approved, is what basically, that was our position. And if we didn't convey it properly, write it properly, that's on me. But again, some of this was the information that's been coming into us. It's been coming in, like I said, the first department letters came in the day of my first hearing, when I came in at 2:30. We responded everything by 5:30 that day. We got the peer review, we responded within 2 days. So we've been scrambling to try to make sure that we get the turnaround. I know Brandon was even saying turnaround 1 week. It's just, we haven't had that kind of luxury. It's been hours and days really for us to get this stuff, and we've been trying to do that as quickly as we can, and dealing with the different departments and all that stuff, so.
So I would say if we have to see how Thursday goes with the planning board, but if, assuming as you are that everything is they might have some additional conditions or requirements from you, but let's say that they say, okay, you're good to go with this proposed new plan. You could then come to us with a request to amend, noting that it's a new owner
Yes.
and an applicant with a new detailed plan, including
Plans.
updated maps, the detailed plan with all the detailed drainage, stormwater treatment, all of that detailed, and copies of any notes or anything that came from planning and any requirements or contingencies that they put. That would sort of fill in the gaps. And
I don't think we need the planning board stuff, right? We just need anything that pertains to conservation,
Yeah.
well,
stormwater
if they have
management.
if they had additional peer review
Right.
feedback or
All the
information,
drainage.
Nancy would
Right,
feel,
but that's
Nancy
all-
would feel better to have that to review it. So if they have it available and it's public, why not get it and we can review their information and just have it as part of our packet.
Right. and
So
all
like
those-
I've never seen that before, the new concept. So, we certainly need a plan showing us.
No, of course. Again, that's why I think the process is what I'm trying to understand, or
Mhm.
trying to figure out. So again, if in the planning board, I mean, I don't know, I think we're 18 pages down or something like that, So if there's 10 items that are in here that are pertaining to the Conservation Commission, and that needs to be the condition that we need to do an amendment, I don't know that we don't have any issue with that. I mean, again, this is where I need to just know where I gotta go at the Ford Road, is that if we're gonna go to an amended, process, that's what we'd like to do. If we then have to address these items that are in the planning board peer review, we would,
pertaining to conservation.
correct, and then we would deal with that. All the drainage calculations, all that stuff has been done, and it's now gone through a peer review. So to peer review, a peer review, to potentially another peer review, I'm not sure if that's,
What-
but.
Do you have the original order of conditions in your folder?
I don't have it with me
I
now.
was gonna ask,
We must
when's
have
the expiration date on
I'm
that?
sure we have.
It was re-upped again, so I think it's another,
3 years.
it was for 3 years, but I think it was but Bob, I think, did it before he sold the property to me, so again, so I think we were, I think it's another.
2025,
it's-
something like
it's-
that.
It's like another 2 years out,
Okay.
yeah, so it's out there, so.
And Josh, would an amended order have 3 years, or would it stay with the original?
Keeps the original expiration.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
but you could apply for an extension.
Yeah.
But it sounds like you're looking to move on this pretty quickly.
We are, we are. You know, we would like to have the, you know, we'd like to have the buildings done by, you know, next year. You know, would be our goal. So we're just, it's important for us to just be able to continue to grow. We have, you know, the interest rates just came down, so all of a sudden, you know, a lot of projects that have been stalled here for the last year, all of a sudden now the phone is definitely ringing, so again, so to move ahead, so.
So what's the tipping point on the amended order of conditions when you're looking at like how extensive can you get on the amended order?
I mean, what's changed? The amount of impervious surface is really the greatest thing.
Right?
And they've changed the drainage to account for that. The work envelope hasn't changed at all.
They've had a peer review.
The wall changed. I mean, that's something new that we haven't seen. But
There's no impact on a resource area
None?
change, so
Nothing has
I
changed?
think that would be a no-brainer.
As far as the cap goes, I think it's within our jurisdiction.
I would agree. That's,
Absolutely. Yep.
I mean, at the end of the day, he's gonna come in for an amended order. We'll issue it, and the new plan gets sent to DEP anyway. You'd have to re-advertise, re-notify butters. I mean,
Yeah, agreed. I mean, and we had the planning board, we had two of our butters came and, that's, you know, this, you know, they wanted to see how far
Gotcha.
you know, we're 400 feet and 500 feet, 538 feet or 583 feet and 469 feet from the nearest residences. So that was their biggest question. And then,
Well, we made the,
and then lighting was the other thing. And,
Right.
and we basically reduced,
it's all,
I mean, we reduced down the lighting here is at 0.
it's all planning board issues anyway.
Yeah, so, but again, we're trying to deal with the, you know, the abutters and everything else. They asked us if we could do, you know, make sure the light up, you know, like on any lights. And so we removed the lights off the back of the building. There's not gonna be nobody back there, so.
Right.
So we've tried to do everything we can to make sure we wanna be good neighbors. We'd like to just be left alone, have our fenced off area and go to work and come, you know, lock it up at the end of the day and move on.
I think we're
Okay,
good.
what are we doing?
I'll make a motion. It doesn't even need a motion. My opinion would be amended order of conditions.
You
Oh,
know,
we have to give some direction, so,
Oh, we've got two opinions so far.
say again.
We've got 2 opinions so far. I'll kick in the third. Anybody else wants to kick in on approval of what
Well,
we
we
just
have 4.
discussed?
If you're saying, that you're in favor of an amended order of return.
Yes.
And we have 4 votes.
in favor of amended, yeah.
Me too.
Josh, you.
But knowing that your amended order, we want to see the final peer review letter, any conditions from the planning board, which is something Michelle asked for.
Which affect conservation.
Which affect conservation.
Sure. I mean, they're gonna have to write up a condition of approvals anyway.
Yeah.
So,
Are we gonna get copies of this material? The maps and the...
We will, yes.
Yeah,
We'll
When
submit
they
all.
file,
We'll
When
submit
they
all of
file.
it.
so we're gonna decide they're gonna, sounds like
So
file
we
for
don't
our
need a
amended
motion.
order of conditions.
Otherwise, we
it's not a public hearing.
have to wait.
Yeah, we don't have to do anything, just
Okay.
give you
Yeah, you're,
your pick list.
So,
right, you're looking for direction.
That's all I'm looking for. I wanted to come in, and this is an informal, so when I talked to Nancy, I appreciated you know, giving me some time. I know you got a lot of, obviously, a lot on your plate, and I know the hospital's a big project. Oh, I know.
I would say if you get pushed back on Thursday and it doesn't pass for some unexpected reason, then you're probably, depending on what the reason is, you're probably gonna
I mean, this,
need to go back to the drawing board for something.
I think you're in
depending on
front of the
what they say.
planning board right now for them to determine if it's a minor or major modification.
Well, we're actually going through the process now, and so they asked us, we went in, asked them for a minor, they said we want to send it out to peer review.
Oh, okay.
Respond, we're in the second phase of response. I don't know if Thursday we'll get we're still dealing with some more submission, just because my civil engineer couldn't make the time frame. He got the stuff on, I think it was Friday. He said the earliest I can get it to, he was out of traveling, so the earliest he got it to us was the 2nd. So
Okay.
maybe one more, but I mean, I think overall, I thought the meetings have been good.
Okay.
So I'm feeling good that the meeting's been well received, and that the planning board's been, you know, doing a good job with, you know, asking the good questions, and we've been trying to just be responsive again. We've been trying to scramble a little bit, so, you know, there hasn't been a lot of, you know, the dialogue's been good, but we've been behind the 8 ball each time, I'd say. So if anything, that might be one of the things that's slowing us up a little bit. The peer review, I was supposed to be on the hearing, I think it was 2 weeks ago, and we didn't get the response back from the peer review. I was all prepared to be there that night, but we hadn't received it. So then we pushed it off till this Thursday. But then again, we just got the response, the peer review's response the other day, and we responded again. So we're trying to, you know, we're trying to get it as fast as we can, but I think it's been good.
Okay, I think we've hashed over this enough, and I think you have your
Marching
answer.
orders.
Yeah.
Thank you,
We still
appreciate
got a
it.
ways to go before we sleep, so.
Okay, thank you though.
Good luck
Okay.
Thursday. Thanks for coming.
Have a great night.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. See you in a few weeks.
Sounds good.
Be soon.
All right.
All right. I can't help but be overly protective of Boy Brook, sorry.
No, I understand it, but
I agree with you, except that they're as close as they were before.
Yeah,
Right.
no,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So-
Yeah,
Scope
but
of work
they still
hasn't changed.
have to answer some questions,
Yeah.
and that
But
part where they
I think he
refuse
showed that
to
he's
give-
willing to answer questions.
Yeah,
And,
so, and we
and
can.
all the issues that we brought up tonight are all addressed by the planning board in the peer
Right.
review. They just haven't answered everything
Right,
yet. So,
so we'll
I
see
get
how
it.
it goes,
I get it.
yeah, we understand your concern.
okay?
But he's right. He could come in tomorrow and build.
Right.
Yeah, you'd be
He
all
did
set. Well,
exactly
that,
what he
I think
has.
that was my point with him. He's like, I have a valid order of conditions. He kept saying that over and over. Yeah, you do for what's there, and that's all that's recorded in Plymouth, and the plans have all been
Oh,
done and everything, and
Yeah,
so,
he knows he needs to
Yeah.
update that. Yeah,
I know.
of course.
okay, so, meeting minutes,
I'd like to point out that the
Uh-oh.
minutes meetings here
yes?
are for June 11th, 20,242. That is so far in the future.
I
So
Okay.
let me modify that.
I
Where?
got 2024.
No, on the
Why?
agenda.
Oh,
If you look at the agenda, June
I
11th,
try not to read.
20,242.
Okay.
Which is a long ways in the future.
guess
So
so.
obviously, we're gonna make it.
I'm gonna vote no on
Two-
those.
What Star Trek chapter is that?
What's that?
What Star Trek?
Yeah, that's even beyond Star Trek, right? Anyway, for obviously, June, I'd like to, make a motion that we approve the meeting minutes for the Conservation Commission of June 11th, 2024, as presented to us.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
so
Okay, last but not least,
before we do that,
yeah,
I just had something else in my packet.
okay,
It's the letter from the lawyer for 160 Bedford Street.
Oh, yeah.
There's two other things in the packet.
Oh.
Yeah, they copied us on the letter to the select board.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It wasn't to us, it was the select board's letter.
Okay.
from the lawyer, are you talking about the letter from the lawyer? Let me explain.
Yep. Please.
The letter from the lawyer came from Mr. Wynn. Mr. Wynn texted me the letter from the lawyer, otherwise we would have never
We
seen
would not
it.
have seen it, right?
Who was it sent
So
to?
she just
Sent to the
added it
board
to
of-
the packet,
It went to the select board
right?
because
Yeah.
they sent the cease and desist and gave them 21 days to remove,
Oh, for
to
the
remove the vehicles.
cars and everything, yeah.
Right,
To get them registered or to apply for a permit, but everything had to be done within 21 days.
so she just FYI, put that in the packet. It's not on our agenda tonight. It was just FYI, because it was sent to me by Mr. Wynn,
Oh, okay.
okay? So, just additional information. What do we have under old business? Under old business, I'd like to bring up one thing before we get to the, I should do that last, right?
Doesn't
Yes.
matter.
All right, taking that out of order, under old business, 3 Mona Street.
Oh, yeah, what's up with that?
Yeah, well, Lori sent in a letter tomorrow that I kind of crafted saying that we gave them an enforcement order. They had a RDA that was a positive determination, and we were asking for a notice of intent by August 13th. And
This
we've
is the
seen
dock?
This is the
That-
bulkhead that they.
The whole
Concrete bulkhead,
the
okay, yeah.
work without a permit.
Yeah,
And we've heard nothing, so we're inviting them to our October 8th meeting for an update, and I said, I was a little stern in saying, you know, the next step would be to go to enforcement on DEP, but the last was we would be willing to work with you to help get this going, because they were supposed to submit a notice of intent for unpermitted work
Right.
by August 13th, and we've seen nothing, and it's September 24th. So it was just basically a nice letter saying, we're inviting you to discuss this, and if you can't make it, call the office and we'll set up make another arrangement, but they should come in and talk to us.
Now, did you point out to them, as we've done in the past, that you're much better off dealing with the local
I said
than with
locally.
the state
I said
agency
locally,
that
and
has fining ability?
I'll send you a copy. I'll have Lori send out a copy of the letter to everybody, but I did say locally. That would be, you know, just come see us. We're not, we'll figure out what they have to do, but we had asked them
That's the key.
that
they
it's
were
unpermitted
notified.
work, and
Yeah.
it's a serious situation. They need to, whatever. I think they had talked to Jamie. Lori's had gone back and found an old email, I believe, that, I think they're gonna hire Jamie to do it, but, so tell us that and say when we can expect to see something, that's all. Okay, lastly, the, conservation agent job description was, Lori sent it out to everybody, if anybody had any changes or anything to make. And not knowing if anybody, or not having heard if anybody said anything or has done anything, I asked our HR person, Lacey, to go over that job description and kind of polish it up or put anything new in it that her opinion or whatever, and this is what came back from Lacey, pretty much.
We're looking
so have we
for-
seen that one?
Say again?
Have we seen that one?
I just passed it out.
We're looking for a super person.
Yeah.
This is a lot to
Here's
do in
another one.
18 hours a week.
And when you start throwing in
Well, Bob
meetings,
did it.
you start
I
throwing in
did it.
meetings.
It's basically, it hasn't changed that much. I think she made it look
But
nicer and
but
she
you
put
weren't
in,
going to like Board of Health meetings or,
On occasion, but not regularly.
but not regularly, yeah.
and she showed a nice posting. She made it like, you know. But it's really not that different. The only thing that I really questioned was the 40 pounds. I don't ever remember having to lift 40 pounds. How about you, Bob?
Occasionally.
Actually, I'm limited right now to 20, so
Well, wait a minute. Who picked
That's your
up Lori
story,
when
you're
she
sticking
fell?
to it,
I get a
right?
doctor's note.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I say, I guess, well, I was in the office today and Lori and Ed was saying sometimes the files are pretty heavy.
But 40
I don't think
pounds.
that's.
Well, when they're that heavy, I use the little thing with the wheels.
With the wheels.
You also have to sit, climb or balance, stoop, kneel, crouch, or crawl and smell.
I think
Yep,
that's always
yep.
been in there.
Yeah.
I have some concerns with some of the wording
that's
in
a
here,
little
but
far-
I'm
far
keeping my
out.
mouth shut.
Well, 40 pounds is a 5-gallon bucket of water. So maybe it's
Ah.
for changing the cooler.
Because water's what, 8.3 pounds per,
Mhm.
per gallon?
Yeah.
Regular and date. evening
But
date.
if you get a health flood, that's a 50 pound, bag of sand is 50 pounds, so.
But if you want time to look at this, and I haven't put this against the other
I
original
don't think
one.
there's any differences.
You don't think there's any differences?
No, it's just.
I didn't think
it's
there
just
was
the
It's
either.
just
layout.
cleaner.
Just looks nicer, cleaner.
It's ready to post is all that it is.
So
Do we have to approve this?
we have it in Word. So, well, if there's any changes, you know, believe me,
It seems pretty
it's getting
comprehensive.
beyond me, you know?
Yeah. It seems-
Fair.
It seems
Even
pretty
just with
compre-
Brandon coming tonight and he's like, you know, did I email him? And it comes in and you gotta chase people down and we need somebody at the office. And Bob's willing to help out and probably even work with the new person, which would be great, cause I'm getting burned out. I don't mind. John's been, everybody's been great.
So what?
But when it comes down to, there's so many moving parts and I'm not doing this full time. I'm just doing it when I can do it. And
Right.
like I say, I felt bad. Brandon was here tonight because he didn't get the thing because the people sent it to me and they didn't send it to Lori and it was the day before and I didn't chase them down. I mean, Bob, I just don't remember you having to chase these people down like that. Are you coming in or not like the day before? Are they just taking advantage because you're not there?
Pretty much. Well, Lori does a lot that we're not.
Well, they're not
Not seeing
telling
it.
her either, and she's not, I don't think she really feels comfortable chasing them down. I mean, you know, I gave Outback today, you know,
Yeah,
a good saying, I
Well, we-
need this by 4:30.
Yeah, we're
we've
trying
made
to
it
get-
clear, everybody needs to get it in within a week,
Right.
a week prior to the meeting.
I think
And
What did we decide on? 5?
we decided
5 days?
by the end of the day, the Tuesday before.
right,
Right.
And I think we're gonna have to start sticking to
enforcing
it
that.
and not allowing,
Well, that's why I was giving them one last opportunity. I didn't want to be at odds with the engineers to say, you know, we could.
Well, that's
Actually, I
why-
think I did say we could,
well, that's
you
why I
know, make a
said,
motion to,
when somebody asks for an extension, I'm not saying because we voted on it and it's the policy, I'm not saying just say no because they got to us on Thursday afternoon or they called today. If they called today and say, I'm really sorry, my daughter has 104 fever and we're going to the hospital.
That's
Of
different.
course we're going to
Right.
accept that.
right.
But if we have somebody who's extending over and over and over again and never gives us a reason, we're just spinning our wheels and we're wasting our community's time. And
I agree.
so I think there has to be, you know,
A cutoff.
we've made some requests.
And it went out to all the engineers that we deal with on a regular basis, so if we get somebody that we don't deal with on a regular basis, then they probably get a buy or a chance or something, you know? But,
Yeah. And if it's a family making a request for a hearing and then they make a request for a postponement one time on a small project, that's probably different than a large
Right.
engineering company on their 37th request.
That should know what they're doing.
But is it on our webpage, how the application process?
Yeah, yeah.
So is it in there that you need to submit everything a week before?
Oh, I don't
It
know. if
used
that-
to be. I don't know
is
if it's
that-
still there.
if Lori changed it up,
Because then there's no excuse. Anybody
Well-
who's gonna fill out an application is gonna check the website.
We're working on these other updates, so we'll make sure that at the top of the agenda, there's gonna be the public link of the open projects and their status.
Right,
That it says, you know, here's our agenda subject to change. If you're on the agenda and you're not gonna be able to make it, be sure to call the office. Otherwise, your hearing is going to be heard whether you're there or not.
right.
That can go on the page and that, you know, that will help.
Can I propose a pretty radical change to the job description?
Okay,
Oh, boy.
yeah. What page? Or,
On
the post?
No, let's do that. Yeah, sure. Let's do it that way.
the posting?
Under external job posting, it says conservation agent.
Yeah,
I would like to amend that to conservation agent / environmental planner. Because I don't think our planning board is in the mindset of allowing
Conservation.
development.
Oh,
No, development.
No.
And I think that was this board's biggest concern for the planning board was to have a split position that was environmental minded second. And I don't know that I see that from the planning board.
How do we enforce it? All our direction is from the Wetlands Protection Act, that doesn't include it.
Planning, you mean?
When it comes to land use
Planning.
planning,
That's a planning board issue, we can't make quick changes for them.
but isn't that?
They're asking for, they proposed a land use coordinator that I feel our commission made a decision on that was more planning board first,
Yeah.
conservation second.
Yep.
And I don't see that from the planning board. I think their opinion of this is they want someone that's more environmentally minded first and planning second. I think they want to slow development in Lakeville.
Yeah, of course they do. It's been pretty boldly
So-
outspoken.
And I think land use coordinator says planning first, conservation second.
so we push the agenda from our side.
So we say conservation agent / environmental planner.
But
Don't you have to pay more for that?
Sure.
we don't even know
Sure.
yet. We don't even know yet
What the selectmen have decided.
what the selectmen have
Oh, it's on
decided
the agenda tonight.
tonight, right?
So,
Is that why half of?
So if they've
Lakeville's
decided to
locked down
hire a
there?
planner, then they need to write that environmental part into that job description.
Yeah.
I don't
Lacey
think
seems pretty knowledgeable. I think she could craft something pretty quickly.
she was pretty knowledgeable, but we have
Uh,
our hands full with what we have. And we have in the budget for this year,
Yep.
the money for an 18-hour position. And from what I got, even from you, that it's gonna be hard to even find this.
Yeah, I agree. But does
So
that mean
you-
we shouldn't do it? I think it's going to be hard to find a town planner.
But doesn't it say in the job description already
The
about, knowledge of environmental?
Yeah, but when you
Yeah.
advertise it, that's gonna be a greater hook. If you say environmental planner.
Well,
I was
if
thinking-
there are, those duties are on here,
Yeah.
But I'm feeling like
we
we're
can't
getting
just,
out of our lane.
the planning board got out of their lane when they proposed.
Right, and
A land use
we put
coordinator.
them back in their own lane when we decided we want a conservation agent.
but ultimately, it doesn't matter what we want or the planning board.
You're right.
It's
The
a
select board could.
Right,
The select board could sit down tonight and say we don't want to hire either of them.
Top of page 3 provides leadership and direction in the development of short and long-range plans, coordinates department activities and with other departments and boards, commissions, and committees and needs. Direction in the development of short and long-range plans.
That's something we
That's
talked about.
environmental planning.
Yeah,
I will be the first to say that I think 18 hours for just the conservation agent alone is probably inadequate.
yeah.
yep,
Especially with the hospital and.
Well, especially with
Rocky Woods.
all the development going on in town.
Sure.
Rocky Woods,
When you start to think about all the things that a conservation agent or conservation agent environmental planner could be tasked with, think about how many CRs we hold that require annual monitoring.
Oh, yeah.
Think about all the properties that we control that could use some type of maintenance.
but how many CRs do we have under the town that has our control? I just mapped for a full day up at Betty's Neck, the bogs, and our land on Long Point Road with DCR and Fisheries and Wildlife that hold the restrictions on those properties. Then we have this one, Wildlands Trust holds a restriction on that.
so what are we responsible to?
Yeah.
We're
Timber Act
responsible-
Park,
What?
Timber Act?
the
Yeah,
biggers.
what properties do we hold a CR for?
Vigors, well, no, I don't even know if there's a CR on Vigors, or if it's just like under
Should there
Article
be?
97 land.
What if someone comes to
Corey's
the,
making us the list.
what if someone comes to the Concom and says, hey, I have this great property off County Road, it's 200 acres, and I want it in a CR that I want the town to hold?
And then we would direct them towards Waterlands Trust,
Tell them to go
because
back
they
and-
have a sustainable organization that's 100 years old and they do a good job. We don't have a land trust.
We're a
Yeah.
town that could hold the CR.
Oh, we could hold it jointly.
You could.
We hold it jointly on the bogs with Fisheries and Wildlife. The town of Lakeville and Fisheries and Wildlife jointly hold the CR. So
And
I
do
would
they-
say it would
they
be
do the
nice to
annual monitoring?
jointly hold it with somebody that has more experience than we do.
Why not bring it in-house?
We don't have the staff or
We
the money.
tried. It's not
Well, then
sustainable.
let's fight for it now.
The town has the money, why don't we fight to be able to use it to protect the town? The town wants to slow development.
Imagine if you had
Push it
someone
to-
sitting in that office reaching out to people that hold big plots of land.
That's what open space people are supposed to be
Yeah,
doing.
yeah.
That's
And
the
they-
open space's
do
job.
they
And
have
the
an
assessor's
employee?
office.
Mm.
The assessor's office is supposed to give the selectmen every year a list of, properties coming out of 40B.
60.
That's how we just
61,
lost, we just
61,
lost
yeah.
600
Chapter
acres on
61.
Allen Road that way, because it
500,
didn't
right?
happen. 5, 6, somewhere big.
The agenda item is discussion and possible changes to the job
Right,
description.
it is. So,
That's my change.
Yeah, but-
Conservation
but-
agent / environmental planner.
All right, then I'm changing the hourly wage
you
and the
can't,
hours. What do you mean? Why can't I?
Yeah,
because it's not in the budget. I mean, you can, but
that's what the discussion is.
shouldn't we wait and see what they decide?
Yes.
So the selectmen are gonna decide tonight, what they're gonna do with the position. So
Well,
at that
about that,
point,
I vote we go down to the, library and see what's
Don't you
shaking.
start
There's
trouble.
no parking. There's no parking.
no
Did you see
parking.
the
you'd have,
street on
you'd
your
have to
way
walk
here?
from here.
Did you come this way or that way?
I'll have the guys give me a ride down the street.
So so once they decide tonight what they're gonna do, will we have an option to have input into this?
Probably not.
If they decide to go this route?
Well, we were asked to look at it.
They
At
don't
that
like it,
meeting
well,
I
get
went
up
to,
and leave.
remember, we were asked to look and see if we made any changes on
Well-
this. So it's very easy for us to say, we're waiting to see what they decide and we'll put it on the next agenda.
Why not? We go to Nate and ask him because he's this person's boss that will be the hiring manager and posting the position. So,
Right,
We
but
asked to
we
speak
also
to
have
them.
to be realistic. We add a bunch of stuff to that and don't pay more, or give them more hours.
Well, we bring the planning board into the discussion.
we want.
They were the one that suggested this to begin with.
I'm in favor on getting on top of the stuff we control now, rather than expanding at this point.
Well,
Yeah,
But that's just my opinion.
I agree.
I don't disagree.
So can we put this on the next agenda and see what happened tonight?
Absolutely.
I would say
Sure.
that's the prudent thing to do.
Okay. Everybody?
Yes, I'm in favor of it.
Okay.
I would like the opportunity to talk to someone from the planning board to get their position on what they were trying to accomplish. Because I think that's a big key to the puzzle that we don't understand. Why did they want to go? They could have had a town planner. No problem. Full-time town planner paid them. They didn't want to do it. Why?
Because I don't think they thought there was enough money in there, but if they added our $30,000 out of our budget on top of it,
They didn't even try.
didn't even try what?
Once Mark left, they never posted that.
Right.
They could have posted it and got a town planner potentially, right?
Well, they couldn't combine the two
No, I'm
without the
saying,
selectmen's
Why didn't they just
approval.
go for another town planner? Because I think they felt they had a bad experience for some reason, and it was the first town planner that we've ever had in Lakeville.
Yeah.
And it just didn't
I think,
gel somehow.
I think board collaboration is very important.
Yes, I agree.
So I think let's have the conversation with the planning board on, I would like to know the exact reason why they didn't just go for a town planner this time. And I'll make that call myself.
Yeah, no, I mean, you can make any call you want, but my thing is, they hired the first town planner, and
Yeah.
he was someone who came from a bigger town, and I don't think he got the memo of they didn't want the development. And you can't stop development, you can try to do it the best way possible and channel it around protecting the environment, but I
can't
don't
stop
know
it,
if he ever got that memo.
But-
And so it didn't work out, so it was like, oh, it didn't work out, so they wanna try something else instead of, it's just one time, first time ever, and I think from what have seen from the Board of Selectmen's meetings, I think that they would like to just hire the planner. The money's there.
I think transitional periods are a good time to reevaluate.
Yeah, no, I agree, and you know what, when I've worked with Mark a lot when he was here on the Crystallini property, on, other things.
I have nothing bad to say about him.
Huh?
I have nothing bad to say about him.
Right.
I just,
It
he
didn't work
wasn't,
out.
yeah, it wasn't the direction the town wanted to go in. That's fine.
So
It
then-
happens.
So you just set a clear path the next time you hire a planner.
Or you hire someone else who already has that clear path in mind. Right? You advertise for someone who's already looking in that path instead of hiring a planner and saying, hey, this is the path you have to go down.
I see. All right, well, that's out of our hands. For me, for right now,
I
We'll
think
see.
there's one more thing.
yes.
There's a email here from William Trevaux. Is that something we need to address?
Yes.
It's our friend.
They were very happy with Michelle and Josh's visit. Do you guys have this or no?
We brought
That's not on
cookies.
the agenda.
Okay,
That came out, that will be on the next agenda.
okay. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay.
Got it.
I think she kind of put stuff in the package that maybe is for the next agenda.
Motion to
just so-
adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.